What do you think it was that allowed you to understand, to make that decision rather than, I guess, blow everything that you made? Yeah.
Can fear of poverty be one of them? Different people have different risk tolerance. So
Mine is very low.
yours is very low.
Very low. Hey guys, welcome back to Financially Incorrect, a podcast proudly sponsored by FX Pesa. I am your host, Barack, and today we have an amazing conversation. I cannot wait to get into it. But before that, let me just remind you, if you'd like to learn about trading, FX Pesa offers classes both online and offline. Monday to Friday, it's available for you guys. Also, if you'd like to trade, whether you'd like to open a demo account or a live account, please click on the links in the description box, head over to the website, and you should be able to do that. And basically, FX Pesa will help you throughout that journey. Before I get into today's episode, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read a few comments from Pinky's episode. I'll read one comment from Augustine Jeg. Anyway, his comment is, wow, my generation grew up watching and listening to Pinky Galani. When they saw you don't really know about a person until they share the story. This episode has really shared a lot of importance of self-awareness. We have a lot of trauma we have to battle with, especially being raised in a system where we aren't taught to be financially incorrect. Kazi poa sana, financially incorrect. Another comment, what an interesting episode, what an inspiring episode. This was insightful. Wealth is good, but it depends on how you spend it. These are just a few comments, I guess, from that episode. Also, shout out to everyone who's tagged us on Twitter, anyone who talks about us on Twitter. We really appreciate the support. Please continue to share that information. And now, I can officially get into today's episode. So, before I start, I'm going to start this with a story. Or a bit of a story, and then you'll hear the rest of it. So imagine that you sign up to some random link that you get sent, right? And you sign up onto a link and someone tells you it's a mystery experiment, and so you sign up and you hear back from them a couple of weeks later, and essentially they send you this email. And so the email reads, "Greetings. Thank you for your patience while we finalize the logistics of this experiment. We're excited to announce that we're ready to officially launch. Please carefully read the below details and review the study instructions which are attached for your future reference." So money. The money should be available in your PayPal accounts for 24 hours. To help keep track of your purchases, please only withdraw money when you make a specific transactions. We ask you that you spend all the money within 3 months. So plan to use it by, 3 months from the date of this email. Then on Twitter, we ask you to keep the news of this gift private. Aside from sharing with your family, close friends, please do not reveal public that you're a recipient of money. And then there's a surveys element where they ask you, we will send you surveys 1, 2, 3, and 6 months after you receive the money. The surveys will ask you about your purchases, so please keep track of how you spend the money. And then finally it says, questions and concerns. If you are approached by media and or press, please direct all inquiries to mysteryexperiment@ted.com. And final thing, please feel free to contact us with any questions or concerns along the way. Wishing you well. Warm regards, the TED Mystery Experiment team. So imagine you receive that email. And with that email, you receive a certain amount of funds, and they ask you to ensure that you spend that money within 3 months. And the range of money, the money that you receive ranges from $0 to $10,000. What would you do with that money? Anyway, today we're going to find out. Today we'll find out what someone did with that particular money. Before every podcast that we have, I always ask our guests, what's your most interesting money story? Today, that's what we had. And I cannot wait to hear how that money was spent. I cannot wait to hear how she even got part of that process, and for you guys to learn this extremely crazy story. So today we have Stacy Njimu with us, who at the moment is a portfolio manager, a talented international moderator, a rising thought leader in the field of investment data and wealth tech. And as far as her sister is concerned, a very, very lucky person. And the God that she serves is apparently the God we should all be serving. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Wow, we should all get introduced that way. It's like a discovery, like, wow, I thought I knew myself. Now I know myself better.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys.
How are you doing? How is maybe let me specifically ask you around the weather in Nairobi right now.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all. I thrive in cold environments.
Yeah.
So small heat. Guys, I'm getting heat rashes and I'm wondering, are we still using baby powder as adults? I need advice.
But
Yeah.
this is not small heat.
Yeah.
This right now that we're experiencing is definitely not small heat.
Yeah.
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 Okay, let's kick off with our money story. Tell us about how you even got that email,
Okay.
and yeah, your version of it. I guess not my
My version.
summarized one. Yeah.
Okay. So let's kick it back to a random December, just on my phone, checking out WhatsApp statuses, which I rarely used to do. So then I see one of my classmates has posted a link that is taking us to Twitter. So then I just go to the link, go to Twitter. It's on TEDx page, and they say that they want sign-ups for a mystery experiment. And I think there are only 3 qualifications. Is you needed to either be in 3 countries, and Kenya was one of them. You needed to be 21 and over. I think, yeah, and period. And you need to be willing to take part in the experiment. It doesn't hurt. Fill the survey and just forgot about it completely. 3 months go down the line, and then I just see an email from TEDx. And for all of us who've subscribed to TEDx, those emails are a lot. So how I just got this one
Yeah.
and actually go to open it.
Yeah.
And all it has in the body is make sure you're in a silent place or alone, or you have earphones. So then I was in my mom's office. I step out. I go get my earphones and I plug them in. And then I see a video. When I click the video and I want to start watching the video, I see it's the CEO of TEDx. And he's saying, "Hi, Stacy, we have this experiment. It's a mystery. You don't know what it's going to be about, but it's part of the TEDx community, had this lump sum of money, and they want it to go towards social experiments. And we have different categories. So there was I'd say the lower level, then there's the mid, and then there's the high. And you will get one of the 3. And I'm like, okay, pressure. So the video goes on, and I end up being in that range. Yeah, let's call it mid to higher.
Yeah.
Mid to upper range.
Right.
And in that minute, I don't think I really believed it. I was like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Play it again, and then I see, okay, so it's real. And in the email, they say that it would take a bit of time for them to just process. We needed to sign NDAs, agreements in terms of we are willing to also participate so that they can know the numbers of people they're working with. So then they get back in March, and they say, as you read in the email, 24 hours, check your PayPal, you'll have the cash. Yeah,
And
so that
the only thing is that you have to spend the money in 3 months.
you have to spend every single dime, dollar, for
Yeah.
that matter, in 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
There was also an interesting thing you had said. I guess we talked about it before. You talked about how there was a feeling of manifestation of bringing this together. Yeah.
110%.
Yeah.
I think
What were you doing at the time to manifest this?
Yeah.
This money.
maybe it was just a fascination to just watch the videos on YouTube of how to win the lottery, how to manage your money better when you win the lottery.
Yeah.
So crazy thing, I actually had a note on my phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the things I will do when I win money, and these are the things I would not do when I get a windfall. And a windfall came. And where did I refer? The notes. So I got back to the playbook.
Yeah.
That's what guided me.
Okay. So what then did you end up, for what you can tell us, what did you end up doing with the money that you had to spend in 3 months?
Yeah. Oof. My loved ones really had a good time.
Yeah.
So trying to just buy things for different people. I started some businesses that I'd wanted to try. And I remember for me, it was a conversation I was having with God. I don't have the capital. If I get the capital, this thing will work. So then getting that done. And I took a trip to Cape Town, South Africa, which is very dear to my heart. I think maybe because of that whole experiment after school. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, did you ever feel, even right now when you look back, do you feel like you spent that money wisely? Or do you look back and you're like, oh man, I should have, spent my money a bit differently, or would have done a couple of other things?
110%. I'm very happy with how I spent the money.
Yeah.
Because I had planned for it without knowing where it was going to come from.
Okay.
And for me at that time, the only thing I used to tell myself, it would be stupid for me to like look back and see that I had this much
Yeah.
and it's nowhere to be seen. So I'm very happy. Even in the splurging,
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
But
Yeah.
even as I think about it right now, like, I mean, I'm not particularly thinking about, I mean, if I want some money, that would be great. I'm going to go follow TEDx immediately after this. If I want some money, that would be great. But I'm not thinking about, or if I won the lottery or I won a large sum of money,
Yeah.
what I would do with the money. I'm not writing, a do's and don'ts list. So
Yeah.
where did that come from for you? Like, why are
Yeah.
you, what is it that happened in your life that even before this money comes, you're already writing a list of
Yeah.
do's and don'ts?
I think my manifestation started when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
It's like around 8 years. I'd say my first sort of understanding of money was through my grandmother. She was like an avid businesswoman, and I just remember seeing this lady, and I'm like, she looks good. Things seems to be flowing when she's around. So I remember asking her, Shusho, exactly what do you do for business? Like, what do you do? She tells me, I sell potatoes. I take them to Uganda. I have lorries. And to me, that sounded like very big business. So I was like, okay. Then for you to have good money, and for you to look like the Shusho is looking like, then you need to be like a business owner, an entrepreneur of sorts. Yeah, so that was like my sort of interaction. And moving on in life, I had biasharas here and there, primary, high school. Yeah.
I mean, so like if we think about, I guess, businesses or biashara in high school,
Yeah.
like what are you doing? Are you
Okay.
what are you doing for these businesses? Are you selling? I don't know. We've had people talk about, selling pieces of art, selling their
Yeah.
drawings and things like that. What were you selling at that level?
I think in primary it was just basically candy.
Yeah.
Candy. The one if Stacy
Right.
has two candies and
Yeah.
she sells to
Yeah.
that one,
Yeah.
textbook basis.
Yeah.
But then when I got to high school, I did business. And I think that break in between primary and high school, I just didn't want to be in the house. So I told my mom, I need to get a skill. So I ended up going for baking classes.
Okay.
Yeah, during that period. Didn't really utilize it at that point, but it's going to come in play. So I'm in high school, and then I realized guys like decorating their calculators, their books, etc. I could go and buy like packs of emoji stickers and different sort of stickers. And then I used to get a pack for like 50, 100 bob, House of Leather back in the day, and other places. Then I would cut them up when I get to school according to the size.
Yeah.
Then I sell for 50, others were 100 bob, others were 200
Right.
bob.
Right.
And guys would buy, and guys would really buy.
Yeah.
So I used to have this running joke that you guys are using Bazaar as a place to go and get your money. Bazaar is my banker. I'm depositing the
Right,
cash.
right.
So that was high school. And
Yeah.
I think as things got a bit more serious from 3, from 4,
Yeah.
then I had to find like agents or guys who would sell for me in Form 1, Form 2.
Okay.
Then I used to give them a commission, so like 10% of the sales that they make.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a whole scalable business.
Yeah. Your sister is looking very surprised. Oh, I don't know.
She
You
was
are an
she was in
agent.
the- yeah, she's the
I
agent.
see.
Yeah.
She was the 10% earner. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and what do you do even then? What are you doing with the money that you're earning at that point?
I think the one thing that I really remember is I bought my sister a violin. Because she really wanted to play a violin for her birthday. So I remember that being such a proud moment. I'm in
For
high
you,
school
right.
and I'm presenting a violin, and I'm like, okay, then
How much is a violin?
a
I
violin
don't know.
at
Do you know how
that
much a violin
time.
is? Huh? 24K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a lot. I mean, I'm in high school. That's a
Yeah.
lot
So
of
I mean,
money.
even now, that's a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there was that aspect of business.
Okay, but other than that, you really have no memory of it, like anything concrete that you do with the money.
I just remember going to get my money at the end of the term, which is like 3 months, and it used to be like roughly 20 to 30K.
They'd keep the money for you.
Yeah, like the bazaar was my friend. So I used to tell her, make sure you don't tell dad when he's coming to deposit money
Yeah.
exactly how
But-
much I have. Like, keep 2 books.
Did
Yeah.
he know you were running your business in school?
Like, he knew, but I don't think he thought it was that profitable. You know, when your kid tells you, oh, yeah, I have
I
a
see.
biashara, you're
Okay,
like, oh,
okay.
yeah, go, girl.
Yeah. And how do you
Yeah.
know that she wasn't, skimming a little bit off the top or?
I'm hoping us being in a Catholic school helped the matter. I don't know.
So you kept no records for yourself?
No, I used to like it being like a surprise. Like, surprise, you've opened the piggy bank. This is what you have. Business owners don't follow
So-
that model.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So when do you start first? Because it sounds like like you're making money, maybe your appreciation of the money was still sort of subconscious at this point.
Yeah.
When do you begin to have a conscious appreciation of
Yeah.
money in your life?
I think it still goes back to high school because I did business as my
Okay.
elective, and around Form 2 we had a business club that was launched. It was called Valuraha Investment.
Okay.
So the idea was to have students in like the top national sub-county schools understand about investments, and apart from the business that they do, how can they get into trading, etc, etc. So then I joined the club based on the fascination of just money as in itself, just trying to understand, okay, it could grow, wow, let's see what this is all about. Getting into the club, then there are two facets of this club per se. So the one was company analysis, whereby we had to pick stock. And at that time, we were doing Mumias. Yeah. So when we did Mumias, it was you have to go through the financial reporting, the statements, and really get down to the numbers and the ratios. Like there's only as much as you can learn in high school. What we were doing was what I ended up doing like in uni, yeah, and beyond what I'm practicing at work. So that's what we're doing in high school, and we're just analyzing the numbers. And I remember that time we gave a very strong sell for Mumias, like 3 years before the unraveling began. And at the same time, the second aspect of the club was that we are all given virtual 500K.
Okay.
Yeah, and the idea is that you have to invest the money.
Okay.
And the investments were shares, bonds, T-bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was in high school.
This was in
you were
high
given this
school.
opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a 6 months window. So you're told, here's the money, 500K. Everyone starts the same. So it was gamified. And that made it so cool because we were about over 300 participants. So there are rankings. You're seeing, oh my God, Stacy's here. Stacy's number one. My friend from Alliance is here. Hey, I need to pull, I need to push, I need to push. So then it became a sort of hobby, enjoyment. I just delved very deeply into it. And it was always, am I in the green? Okay, this stock is in the red. How do I sell it? This T-bill is not making me the most. So then competitions come, and I end up being the best portfolio manager. I think at that time it was 25.6% return.
Okay.
Yeah.
On your
in 6
on
months.
this 500K
On
that
this
you invested.
500K.
Okay, so that's what 7.
It's like
much money is that?
620.
Nobody has a calculator. Anyway,
It's roughly 600 and something.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the same time, my company, the one that we did with my team, Umias, we are among the like runners up. So then I get a full merit scholarship to Strathmore to go and pursue something to do with investments.
Okay.
So this is like in Form 3.
You got a
yeah.
scholarship to university when
Yeah.
you were in Form 3.
Yeah.
So by the time you were in Form 4, you knew that you were already going to university.
Technically.
Okay.
Technically,
Wait,
yeah,
sorry. Before
yeah.
that, I want to take you back to this when you're trading or
Yeah.
I guess learning about trade and doing all of these things in Form 3. What are the things that you are considering?
Yeah.
So you said, because it said it's T-bills, you said it was T-bills, stocks,
And bonds.
and bonds. So what are the things that you're looking at? What do you
Yeah.
think are the things that you did and the
Yeah.
things that the information you're taking in and processing that allowed you to then, I guess, emerge as the best
Yeah.
portfolio manager in that virtual space?
Yeah. So one, we were allocated mentors, and these mentors were from Strathmore, and they were basically, and even guys from industry. So I realized quickly, okay, you have to talk to people to understand what's happening in the market, because at the end of the day, I would talk to the different respective people who I feel will give me input. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking of this, and constantly reading business daily, like what's going on with the news. That segment at the back, it used to be for me. This is how it did yesterday, this is how it's doing today. And then trying to, I think I took like a more active sort of management. Instead of, let me buy and wait, it was every day, what can I change, what can I buy more of, depending on the market situation, yeah.
And did you spend, I probably should know more about the trading space, but so when you got the 500K, do you spend all of it? Or you
It's virtual.
No, I know it's virtual. I know it's virtual,
Yeah.
but do you spend all of it?
I went ham.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took the risk.
So even when you're talking about now and saying that
Yeah.
you're buying more,
Yeah.
you have to sell
You have
some
to sell
to get
something.
more. And so that's the things that you're sort of
Yeah,
evaluating
so you
on
have
a
to
day-to-day
evaluate
basis.
if I want to sell this and maybe it's in the green, we need like it's in a profit, and maybe I want to cut off these losses. Will that impact my profit? By what % will it impact it? Overally, how does my portfolio look like? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
To your Form 4. So now you've gotten your scholarship.
Yeah.
Does that in any way affect your dedication and drive towards your education when you're in Form 4, knowing that you already have a full ride?
I think it just gave me the safety. Like mentally, I was very in a position that I'm working, yes, but not that I'm taking it for granted.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why
Okay.
it put me at.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was there to have a good time.
Yeah.
Sports, I'm there.
Okay.
You know, debating, I'm there.
Right.
Yeah, UN. Let's go to the UN. I'm there. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think your parents taught you about money, whether it was directly or indirectly?
Yeah.
What do you think they've taught you about money?
I think it will have to be my mom mostly.
Okay.
And it was, she always just taught us confidence in general and to approach different situations with confidence. So whenever, let's say, I get into a room, everyone wants to sit at the back. I'd hear my mother's voice, you better be at the front. Or like if people need to volunteer. So that willingness to just be open to try different things and to really be confident all across different aspects of life.
Yeah.
It just sipped into money and financially. Yeah.
Okay.
I was very eager to try things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your parents', and maybe you may or may not know this, but what was your parents' response to you getting the scholarship? I don't think I've actually ever talked to anyone who's gotten a scholarship or asked them what their parents...
Yeah.
Did they feel like you've lifted a financial burden off
Hey.
and did they tell you, they were like, good job,
My
good
dad.
and faithful servant? Yeah.
My dad was so happy.
Yeah.
I remember even at my graduation, he was like, there are kids who come and there are kids who come with their own plates. Thank you, Stacy. Direct translation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was then, so in throughout your 4 years at Strathmore, your folks contributing to your, what do you call it, your upkeep, and essentially your life in that period? Okay. What are you doing with, do you have any extra money? Are you doing is there any entrepreneurship or business ventures that you've kept going at that point?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur.
Yes, and of course there's the windfall that comes through, right?
But that comes a bit later.
Oh, that comes a bit later.
That comes
Okay.
a bit later. So when I'm in uni, remember the baking, we put up
Yes,
pin on.
yeah.
So I continued with the baking. I finished. I'm a master baker. Like I have a master's in baking. I don't use it now, but like it was very key then. So then start Cakes by S, which is Cakes by Sisters.
Okay.
I'm a firstborn, so then of 3 girls. Yeah, but 3. So then we used to bake, and then I'd take it to school, and then sell to my classmates. Or we used to have like different fairs. Then sign up for a desk, go and sell there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was one of it. Then the other business was I had a popcorn business as well with a partner, but
Things fell apart.
Yeah, but like it's a lesson all in all.
Yeah.
It's a money lesson.
Okay. Actually, before you had the money lesson about the popcorn, what are you looking for money for at this point? What do you want the money for, if you can remember?
Definitely, it was just pocket money. Not that I'm trying to save to pay for something very huge. I'm not trying to pay rent.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to why can't I not have more money?
Okay.
I just want to have more money. And if my sisters can have more money in the process, then why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us the popcorn money story and lesson. This I haven't heard.
Yeah. So.
And is it like these guys who are at the malls these days, the guys who do both popcorn, cotton candy?
No.
Yeah.
We really didn't have like equipment, and I'm so glad. We had looked at like getting equipment, and I'm so glad we didn't.
Okay.
But it was more of baking flavored popcorn, so caramel popcorn and Oreo popcorn. Then like the 500-liter cups, plastic cups of juice. So then we used to package them in that. Manufacturing, or like what it would take me to produce, was about 60 shillings per cup.
Okay.
That's including the cost of the cup, the seeds, the flavoring, the labor, and then sell it for 200 shillings.
Okay.
Yeah. So start this business with a friend and very passionate about, okay, if we can make money, why not? We seem to be very aligned, entrepreneurial spirit, etc., etc. Get into the business, then things are flowing, but then, you slowly realize, hey, okay, why am I carrying the heavier burden when it comes
Were you
to
splitting the money 50-50?
110%? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're
Is that
splitting
is that what they would
50-50.
say as well? If they were seated in the chair, would they be like, yeah, the money was being split 50-50?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It
Yeah.
was being split 50 because we had a shared account.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
everyone had the card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone had a card.
Everyone had a card, and I think maybe, when you're looking at a biashara for 60 bob, 200, you're not thinking that you need to have people
Paperwork,
co-signing.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we both had our own cards and a shared account.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how much money do you make, and what then causes the rift?
So we used to do different events depending on where we go. It would range from, let's say, 20, 60, 70. The most I think we did was like 75K in one event,
From selling popcorn
just from selling popcorn.
at 200 bob.
Yeah, 200 bob.
Okay.
But then they would end, and then I have to call my sister. I'm like, make more, put on a boda. Then it comes. So it was really much a collective effort, yeah.
All right. So you felt like you were carrying the business. From what you've said, it sounded like you felt like you were carrying the business, and it
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Like on most times,
Yeah.
let's say you have to do all the production, etc. And then let's say Barack, you come in only for the sales. Yeah. When it's not that beautiful.
Yeah.
when it's
when you're doing the hard
beautiful,
work.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So do you then try and have a conversation to be like, hey, can we change the way we are splitting this money?
No, honestly, I think I valued the friendship more at that point.
Okay.
And I think this is something we don't talk about, but I genuinely just wanted us to stay friends. So if we were making money, yes, but like those were conversations I don't think I was ready to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
sadly.
closed the business?
No, that's not even how we closed.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you keep carrying the business
Yeah, we
on
keep
your
carrying,
back. Okay.
and I'm just like, she's my friend, and I value the friendship. Then I end up getting an opportunity to go work in Indonesia,
Okay.
which is very far away.
I see why your sister was saying the god of yeah. Like it's adding up now. It's adding up now. How'd you get the opportunity?
I just applied randomly through ISEC, luckily.
Okay.
And then they're like, okay, we're sure you can come. It was still on entrepreneurship, a partnership between Google,
Okay.
Indonesia, and SMEs. So
Okay.
basically, we were meant to be the link or the mentors who would then go to different SMEs and try to tell them about, this is how you can do better, get more searches, etc., etc. Yeah, so I think I was there for about 3 months. When I'm coming back and guys, okay, they've seen I'm back. Stacy Popcorns, I go to the ATM with my ATM card. Insufficient balance. And all I want is 2K. Insufficient balance.
Do you know how much you had left in the account?
Yeah.
How much
I'll
was
give
it?
a range.
Give us a range.
Yeah, so it was like 60 to 100K.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
in
remember,
these 3
please,
months, yeah.
we're
in university.
Yeah, we're in uni.
Yeah.
So then, why isn't the 2K? So I'm like, okay, then let us see how much is there if the 2K is not there.
Yeah.
Okay, it was just 200 bob. Imagine I withdrew and I went and bought smocha because what do you do? Yeah, so have to then have a conversation and sit down. The one that I had been avoiding for such a long time.
Yeah.
What happened? Because I was away, I can't get the SMS alerts that money went out of the account. And Valid, she said that she wanted to invest the money. And I'm like, okay, I have not seen the returns till today. And I think maybe we would have sat down and agreed, do we really want to take all the money out to invest?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that business ended.
And the friendship?
I mean, it had to end because there was no accountability. So, yeah, that ended as well.
Do you make any money from the internship in Indonesia?
No, not really. It was more of just a stipend.
Per diem
it
stuff.
was just a stipend. But I think for me, it was more of I want to just know more, get to know about people, do business in different places, exposure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the next big thing in your money journey from there? Because
My
now you're,
next,
because at that
yeah.
point you're still still at university.
Yeah. I think at that point is when things started clicking. Like, I'm going to family gatherings, people asking me, oh, okay, so you do finance. You'll be an accountant. I'm like, no, not that finance. It's in more on investment side. Okay, so what should we invest in? And I'm just giving the textbook answers, textbook answers. And it was bothering me because I'd want to be ahead. I'd want to be more confident about what I'm saying. So then go back to the drawing board and look at what can I start, where I am with what I have. End up on Forex.
Okay.
End up on Forex and go to YouTube. It's crazy. There's so much information. You don't know where to start. And I think it's very beautiful to have platforms like FXPesa that are really organizing and really educating people about these topics, because then we didn't have that. So then I paid for a course online. I took a course for about 3 months and really putting in the time. After classes, I'm going for my FX class. I open the book, I'm taking the notes. And again, took another like 2-3 months in the demo. So just trying to figure out, this is what I've learned, being more cognizant and familiar with the app. It's called MetaTrader. So then do that for a bit. Then around December is when I decide, okay, it's time to go live.
Okay.
And I believe I opened an account with FXPesa.
Okay.
I go live. I put
With
5K.
FXPesa?
Yeah, with FXPesa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Organize.
Okay. Yeah.
So go live. I put 5K. Put the 5K, then I cannot tell you why I was buying, but I was buying the GBP, so that's the pound against the USD. And I'm just monitoring. I get a bit parched, decide to go get some water. By the time I'm heading back, I'm not seeing any trade, guys. And it's like at night.
Yeah.
It's midnight. I can't wake people up.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to check, okay, then I know how to check my balance. So let me just check my balance. Okay, then why do I have $100? Wow. I just doubled.
Yeah.
I wake everyone up in the house. I'm like, guys, I'm not leaving this Forex.
Yeah.
And the same way it came, that same month.
Yeah.
In, out.
Yeah.
But I think for me I just keep thinking it was a very interesting fast start.
Yeah.
Because from there I was like, okay, then I need to learn more. This is very fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think I just continued on that path of trying to figure out FX while I was in school. One buddy of mine sees my trade. They're just seeing charts. They're like, okay, what's this? Gets very intrigued. Joins me on the learning bandwagon, and we did it for quite a bit. We even used to do like some sort of trainings during COVID. And primarily from guys who want to learn a skill. Yes, we're still learning, but at least we were in the process.
Further down that journey,
we were
right.
further down. We're like, when it's not financial advice, but like, here's what we've learned,
Right.
and we're willing to share.
Okay.
So we used to charge 15K.
15K.
Yeah, 15K
Okay.
per person, and for 15 classes.
Okay. So a care class basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did about 30 people over COVID.
Why do you think, in your experience, I guess also now, why do you think Forex is a good, I guess whether it's a starting point or a good thing for someone to put, like you're saying, a loose 5K, whatever the case, like, why is that? Why would you say it's a good place to invest amounts like that and start there?
I think it was coming from a point of, this is what I have. So this is what I'll invest because this is what I have, and I'm willing to either make or lose. I think with FX, that's the mentality that one needs to have, because it does not always go your way. Most times it does not go your way. And when it does, the next trade or the trade after that still requires you to be very into your analysis.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's what I had, and that's what I decided to start with.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long are you an FX trader for? As your primary, I guess, thing?
I'd say 5.5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, 5.5 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So at that point, you I guess you've started trading. You're also offering, I guess, classes to your fellow students or cohorts. What next? What happens next for your financial journey? How do you then end up, I guess, as as a portfolio manager?
Oof,
Yeah.
yeah. I think for me it has been very full circle because remember it's from high school.
Yeah.
But I did know that it would take a lot more to be able to get to industry and actually get to execute it. So then looking at, okay, this is what I have. I'm trying to learn a bit about FX to bring that kind of dynamic and aspect to the market. What else can I couple up? What skill can I really put up on FX and particularly investments to really set me apart? And that looked like data for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Was moderating a certain event, and one of the individuals who was there comes up to me and says, that was a good, actually four, but I think he was the one who resonated the most with me. And it's like, we should do something together. At that time, he was working in data science and really encouraged me, and I'm very grateful he did, to just pursue a certificate in data science and get to see whether that's my thing. I did that when I was still in uni, and I realized, oh, okay, I can see the linkages. I can see how being data driven, I can see how doing the analytics is working in investments and how it could work. So then I decided to go work in data science for quite like 2-3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because I started when I was still in uni.
Okay.
And
And as a, I guess as a data
like-
scientist, how much money are you making? What are they paying you at that point?
No, at that point I'm not a data scientist.
No, I
I'm
mean,
like
as
an
in working
intern.
okay, even as an intern, how much are they
Yeah.
paying? Or is it bus fare or even nothing?
At that time, I think since I was still in uni, it was a stipend. And the stipend was plus allowances like 20K.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I mean, I'm still in school, I'm getting the allowances, and I still have my biasharas running. Sounds
Right.
like a win-win.
Right.
Then once I got employed, I could give a range, yeah. So it was about 50 to 100.
Okay.
Yeah. That's minus any allowances or any different projects,
That
because
you-
some projects had like more cash, yeah.
And what at that point in time, what are you then doing with whatever bit of money you're making? What do you do with it? How are you spending your money?
Yeah. I love traveling.
Okay.
It's my guilty pleasure. So I was traveling quite a bit. Still investing, but on a personal capacity. So still doing my personal effects.
Okay.
Here and there. Lose some, win some. Yeah, it's the way the game goes.
Okay.
And
Is FX the only space that you were investing in at that time?
No, not really. I also did bonds.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did bonds, FX, and businesses. Because I also count businesses
Yes.
being investments.
Right. So you're putting money in whatever. What businesses?
and money
What kind of
markets.
businesses? And you did money markets as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And all of these things that you learned about, did you learn them from, I guess, your experience in the industry, or is it
Yeah.
stuff that you just felt you wanted to do?
I think it was just more of being very curious
Okay.
and trying to figure out, okay, this is what this product offers. This is how much I can get from it. This is the goal that I have. I had that sort of understanding of I could use different investment vehicles to achieve different investment goals or different goals per se. If
Yeah.
I want to go for a trip, I used to have this thing for IR. It's the profits that are taking me on this trip.
Okay.
Yeah, so I keep the principal. Any interest that I earn is what is funding what I want. So then what would it take me? How long would it take me? I work backwards. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think, I mean, what do you think is for you, what's the definition of financial literacy? I guess because even you've explained in terms of saying that what was going to take you on the trip was the profit and
Yeah.
not the principal.
Yeah.
Therefore, you kept reinvesting the principal. What do you think it was that allowed you to understand, to make that decision rather than, I guess, blow everything that you made? Yeah.
Can fear of poverty be one of them?
I
Be
guess,
one
yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just going back to seeing how my shushu lived
Yeah.
and her being a businesswoman, and she passed on quite a bit, but it's been like about 18 years.
Okay.
And her well has not run dry. And she didn't invest. So then it was like, imagine if she invested. Yeah.
So if she didn't invest, what
she
did
didn't
she
invest.
What did she do? It was just businesses.
It was just biasharas and assets like land, etc.,
Right,
but
right.
not financial vehicles, not
Right,
like money
right,
markets,
right.
not bonds. So I'm thinking 18 years down the line and the well is still flowing.
Yeah.
What if there were investments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that something that you wanted to achieve and be like your grandmother in that sense?
110%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I guess your space into getting into work as a portfolio manager. How then do you end up there?
So then I realized I want to move back. I want to move back to the finance sector. And I feel I'm at a point that I understand the importance and where the data science aspect and where the data analytics can really be pulled into investments. And shoot that shot, try to get that job.
Yeah.
End up getting a PM job, which is portfolio manager. But I think when I introduce myself, I like calling it investment manager.
Okay.
Since many more people are able to understand. And yeah.
Okay. Let me ask, what exactly does a portfolio manager do? Like, what's your day to day? Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, what was it on a day to day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, I go to the gym because you need to you need to release steam and there are less pressure. Yeah, so you're good.
We go to the gym. Yeah.
Go to the gym, get to work, and primarily it's just understand what's going on in the markets and in the different places. So we have a wide variety of assets. Yeah, so invested in equities, invested in bonds, T-bills, offshore markets, real estate. So what does that look like? You need to look at information or be able to understand what's currently happening in the different spaces. Then from there, I would then get into understanding or looking at the portfolios. So in a snapshot on Excel or what we would just say Power BI, just visualize this is where we are at, and then look at the different constraints that we have. So an example is we have certain limits that we have by the regulator. We are not meant to go beyond. So how close or how far am I to these limits? I'm trying to, so we call it trying to beat alpha or trying to attain alpha.
Right.
Trying to attain alpha. That's basically trying to be above the benchmark or get returns that are higher than the benchmark, being T-bills. So
Okay.
then you look at your strategy and see, am I closer? Am I further? How soon can I get there? How far? Why am I not there? What else can we look at as a department to make better decisions?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to try and break this down for me like I'm a 3-year-old,
Okay.
right? So I come and I give you my money, right? What happens after that?
Yeah.
And what's your role
Yeah.
in making sure that I get, I guess, all these different financial companies will tell you guaranteed return 11%, 12%, whatever the case is. So what do you do to ensure that I get my 12,000 shillings on top of my 100,000 if it's a 12% return?
Yeah. So you'd come in and we need to understand what are you looking for? How
Right.
long are you looking to invest? And different people have different risk tolerance. So
Mine is very low.
it's very low.
Very low. I don't want to
Okay.
lose any money whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'd have to then invest in safer
Yeah.
investment asset classes per se. And even with investing for you in the safer kind of asset classes, still seeing if they're safer, meaning then default is lower, or
Yes,
we're
the-
more likely to get that 12K you want.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into like somebody else wants more risky sort of arrangement, then there have to be parameters. I'll tell you, this is the range that we are looking for. We cannot guarantee the returns, but this is the range. Are you willing? And if they're willing, then we proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you take my money. So then what do you do with my
What do I do?
with the money that
Yeah.
I've given you
Okay.
to ensure that you're able to meet whatever my guaranteed return is, or
Yeah.
if I have a higher risk appetite, whatever that would be. Yeah.
Okay. Given the amount you've told me, I'd then pull it to other funds.
Okay.
Yeah, because with HNIs, it works a bit different. The accounts are treated as separate. But then now, for other accounts, we then pull. And with that, it even makes it easier to negotiate for better rates. It makes it easier to get better security, insurance, etc., etc.
Okay.
Yeah, so then we pull your money and invest it in what we deem will get you your return.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, when you're saying that you're a portfolio manager, the class 3 way of putting it is that you've taken people's money and you're investing it in different spaces and different places, offshore and locally, to ensure that people get whatever percentage return they've been promised that they get that.
Yes.
Okay. And you're doing the same thing that essentially you were doing when you were in high school, which is essentially where if something is not working, sell it, move it, something working really well. Basically the same parameters and the things that you're evaluating at that point are what you evaluate now.
Yes.
But now in the real
Now in
world.
the real world,
Okay.
more pressure, more
Right.
expectations.
Right.
And I think the one key job of a PM every day is you have to wake up being ready to make decisions.
Okay.
And money decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you make a decision that you've and you lose people money? Or rather, not lose people money, you lose money. You make a loss. What does that feel like?
Not good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, learning to be money neutral in the sense that money doesn't have any thinking towards me. It does not say Stacy is XYZ. And neither should I also have that serious attachment to money likes me, money doesn't like me. Being very money neutral, I think, helps in this situation. But at the same time, there's a reason why you called for that transaction. There's a reason why you called for that trade. There's a reason why you decided to go in that direction. Then sitting again with the team and being like, why did you decide to go this way? Which winners do we have that could maybe kind of cover the losses that we got on this other end?
Do you ever draw any connection to the people who've given you the money and the money that you've lost? Like, I mean, you may not know my name, but do you feel like, oh man, if this person had a higher risk appetite and now, everything has hit the fan and it's not working, do you and do you then feel like, oh man, I've lost that game money?
No. No.
Okay.
I can only carry so much.
Yeah.
So no, I don't like looking at it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, what are the payment skills in your profession? If someone's coming in at entry level, what are they expected to earn and what is the growth trajectory for them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the entry level would be an analyst or starting maybe as intern or researcher, then moving to financial analyst. And then from there, you would probably do assistant PM. There are different sides of the market. So I'm in the buy side, meaning we are the clients to the stockbrokers. Yeah, then after assistant PM, different organizations have different structures. So maybe senior PM or CIO.
Okay.
And if you're good at it, CEO.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the different expected revenue or compensation models that one should expect at those? Are they 4, 5? You said start at research assistant.
Yeah.
Then
Research.
Yeah. Then
Analyst.
Yeah.
Then
PM.
And then PM. Yeah.
And then
CIO.
CIO. Then
Yeah.
so there are 6 different. Okay. Well, I guess 5 different levels. It moves the CEO. What are the different payment scales at those levels?
I think it genuinely varies with where you work, the size of the organization. Is it international? Is it local? But let me just start with maybe the research.
Couple of ranges, right?
Yeah. So for intern or like assistant research, it would be like 50, 70, 80, about 100, 120 and above if you work in good places. And then if you go to then the research,
Next level, right?
Yeah, the next level, it would be about moving from 150, 200 to 50.
Okay.
And then for the PMs, go with that trajectory.
So
times 2, times 3, times 4.
So okay, all right.
Yeah.
So at before you get the CEO level, you're at what 700, 800 thereabout. Right. Okay. All right. So now, in your personal, I guess, capacity, what do you invest in? What are you investing in personally? Other than doing the FX, is there anything else? Is there anywhere else you're putting your money?
I think it still goes back to the money markets that I talked about. I do dollar fixed incomes.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't mention where, but I do dollar fixed income.
What's a dollar fixed?
So that's basically investing in secure deposits, just like Eurobond, but then offered to us, and we then do it in USD.
Okay.
Yeah, so this whole movement of we're at 160, we're at 140, it really doesn't affect the dollar investments that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest, I mean, having been and sitting in the financial space, I guess, like I would say achieving a certain level of financial literacy at relatively early on, what's been the biggest financial mistake you've made on a personal level?
Risk, friends. Listen when they tell you risk is not your friend. Okay, it's okay to take risks, but at the same time, calculate.
Uh-huh.
You'd think that actually, there's a story on the psychology of money about
Yeah.
two individuals. There's the janitor and there's the executive on Wall Street. When they both die, the janitor has $2 million, and the exec, his house gets,
Taken over by
yeah.
yeah.
And it's crazy because you'd think the exec had all the information, all the knowledge, he should have made the right decisions, and the janitor did not have anything like that. Yeah, so calculating risk.
How does that resonate in your story? What did
How it
you do? Yeah, what did
resonates
you do? Yeah.
is I very much used to live in the mentality of I'm young and I can make risks and I have a safety net, which was all true. So then I would put money on like different trades, let's say in FX. In 2 minutes, I should have just taken that flight and gone wherever I was going. Because the money that has disappeared in 2 minutes was so tragic. So I think trying to mitigate risk has been my biggest learning. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you've done FX now for 5.5 years, right? What would you say your biggest learnings have been in your personal capacity?
Focus more on the drawdowns than on the returns. So drawdowns being how low do they go? Like when you make losses, how bad are they? Rather than, yay, I got a 200 plus return. But like when they were low, how low did you go? Because it's better consistency, whereby this is the range of drawdowns that you're getting and they're manageable. And if the highs are not that high, that's okay. But if it's consistent, then that's the beauty of trading. Yeah.
Okay. What are you looking to for the future? What are your ambitions? What are your money ambitions right now? I mean, you've talked about trying to emulate your grandmother's,
Yeah.
financial comfortability. What does that look like practically?
Yeah. Stacy wants to stay in investments. She really wants to continue with her journey of combining that with data and find herself with the sweet spot of something that I call wealth tech. It's really not big here yet, but that is something that I'm really working towards. And just being comfortable. Yeah.
Do you have a figure in mind that you're trying to get to?
Infinite is the figure. I mean, guys, we can dream so high. So, yeah.
Okay. What's wealth tech? Yeah. What is that space and
Yeah.
what's happening in that space right now?
So wealth tech is basically wealth and tech, just the way we have fintech. But wealth tech really focuses on solutions for wealth management. And maybe you've heard about like robo advisory. So this is robots giving you advice on invest in these asset classes, depending on the different constraints. And constraints being what's your risk level, what's your age, how much do you expect to get out of this money. So that's one branch of it. But there's a whole other branch of how best are we able as individuals in the financial sector to better tailor our solutions for our clients? How best are we able to advise them, inform them, and really try to give that power also to the client? Open your phone and say, hi, Stacy, this is what we are seeing. This is how your portfolio looks like, and any inputs that you have, and us being able to then take that back to the system and see how we can input that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last few questions. This episode is going to go out. It's going out in March, right? And
Yeah.
March, of course, is International Women's Day. And as a whole, for Financially Incorrect, we are celebrating women this month of March. And I think we are only having women episodes the month of March. So my question for you is, through, I guess, your journey, you said you have two other sisters, so I don't know if you experienced it. I doubt you experienced it in your house, or in your upbringing. But throughout getting to your career, do you feel like you were, and do you have examples of being put in places or situations where you felt like, your fellow male colleagues were being given preferential treatment, quote unquote, or it wouldn't have been as difficult for them to get certain things done as it is for you? Yeah.
I think just being already in a very male-dominated space requires you to just understand that you really have to put yourself out there. You have to be very audacious with your goals, very audacious with the things you want, and be very assertive. And with that, the world works the way it works. We might not be able to change it now, but how can I make the most out of what I have has been my sort of mentality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you even have any, as easy as, did you have any female many mentors that you would
Mentors.
look up to and be like, oh, that's who I want to be like?
For sure. Yeah. And I do have amazing mentors who are in the industry. And I was actually talking to one just before I came here. We were having lunch. And others who, whenever I feel like I'm facing a roadblock, I'd hit them up and be like, I'm feeling like this is not working. What should I do? And they genuinely guide me on what I could do better. And truly, it's very important for us to have mentors.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you, I guess, what are you doing right now, I guess, in that space to try and make it more accessible
Yeah.
for women getting into the financial space and women being equally represented and being able to see, is there anything that you're actively doing?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I'm really trying to share more about investments, trying to engage with people. And given that I do moderation and I enjoy just public speaking, I try as much as possible to, if there are events that I could go to and speak about different things. So this Saturday I'll be talking about, okay, when this is coming out,
Yeah,
it will be out.
this,
But
right.
this Saturday, as per today, I'll be talking about like change management, transitioning to different careers, and just trying to talk to people online about, hey, this is how I got here, and this is what I'm trying out. Maybe if you try it, it could work for you. And also sharing a bit of personal experiences and information on finance. I share a bit about finance, a bit about data, a bit about strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
More specifically, I want to ask you around a question around women in the FX space. So even when you are running your classes, right?
Yeah.
How many of the 30 would be men against women? What would that ratio look like? And what do you think the hindrance for women getting into the FX space has been?
Maybe it goes back to it being a risky affair. And for sure, even when we were training the 30, majority were actually men. Yeah, for sure. And I was actually telling Shiko before we came on set that I was looking at statistics by the regulator, and they were just doing a disparity. Shares that are owned, how many are by women, how many are by men, bonds, and it's staggering. It's like 70-30. It's that bad. So it's just not in FX. I think it translates all across. And it's like, we have the same education. Why aren't we willing to take the risk? Yeah, so I think also just having more people talk about it and encouraging. And that's just something I'm really trying to do on LinkedIn for those who will find me. Yeah, so it's just, we need to be there encouraging each other. Go, girl, you got this. Yeah.
Okay. If I was to ask you to give FX Pesa a challenge, right? In terms of to try and get more women in the FX space, what would be like your challenge, so to speak? Like if I was telling you, you have an opportunity to challenge FX Pesa to try and increase women participation in the trading space.
Maybe it starts with, is there a woman trainer? And if she's there, how many classes does she take?
And Colin says there are.
He says that there. Okay. So
Right,
that's
yeah,
the start. 2, tailoring different programs in terms of, let's have competitions of ladies who are trading, and from that, it's also a way for us to pick the data. FX Pesa, FX Pesa, to get the data and see which trades were taken, why was someone holding back at this point, and then get to understand, does it then go back to like mindset? How can we then work towards bettering that? And again, maybe understanding, is it risk? Are we willing to get more into risk? Are we not willing to get more into risk? So just trying to look at the data from, let's say, challenges and the classes and getting feedback.
Okay.
What do guys want more of? And highlighting the success stories is like the most important thing.
Okay.
Because if I see a babe that did it, I automatically believe, as Stacy, I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Collins, is your challenge. Oh, the head of education is a lady, I guess. There's a good start. Start. Anyway, okay. Any last thing, any last money thing you want to tell us, share with the financially incorrect community?
Money is interesting.
Yeah.
Money is fun. It does not have any opinion against you or for you. Just be very open to get into a comfortable relationship with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was that. That was today's episode. I think it has been interesting episode. Learned a lot of things about. I'm definitely going to follow TEDx now as well. Going to follow that. I hope that I also, if TED people who work at TED, if you see this podcast, please, I am open, willing to participate in any mystery experiment you may have. But that was really good. Thanks for giving us the information about at least giving us some insight about how the financial and portfolio managers work and what the sort of salary structures can be and what people can expect. I hope you guys have learned a thing or two. Please do check her out on LinkedIn. And please remember, if you want to learn about trading, FX Place is the place to do it. They have online and offline classes Monday to Friday. And we'll see you guys on the next episode as well. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We're continuing to grow our community. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode.